Hello, good people. It's time for an episode of Creatively Shaded, your destination for all things Bay Area theater and beyond, honey, where the dish is served and the tea is hot. So let's join our hosts, Bay Area Black artists
Elizabeth Jones,
Sean J. West,
Phaedra Tillery-Boughton.
Come peek behind the curtain.
Hey everyone!
It's Creatively Shaded.
Welcome back. We are back and we have a special co-host with us today.
Yes, we do, because SirDiva, he busy. You know,
He's
he got
in the theater streets.
He is.
He's literally in the theater streets working. Getting started first day of rehearsal, so he's not with us today. So we have a co-host that I love dearly. Our very own Aejay. Go ahead.
Antonias Marquis.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all?
All right, let us introduce him.
Come on.
Aejay Antonias Marquis
Yes.
is a multi-hyphenate performance artist.
Come on.
Scholar, educator, director, and activist whose work centers the decolonization of the theatrical canon, the Black avant-garde,
Yes.
and queer political performance practice. They were recently witnessed in the critically acclaimed The Nigger Lovers at the Magic Theater and many other productions in the Bay Area. They are an artistic associate at Marin Shakespeare Company on the education team at Berkeley Rep.
Yes.
And serve as an artistic producer at Playwrights Foundation, a member of the Black Artists Contemporary Cultural Experience Collective, Omega Delta Kappa Honor Society, literary manager, and dramaturge of the Americas and Actors Equity. Okay, so I done ran it down.
Listen. A talented
Only thing is I'm also at that PhD program.
You better come on and talk about it.
UC Berkeley. So I'm rocking it out at UC Berkeley right now. And go Bears.
Yeah.
Right, this man, they
Educated.
I'll be trying to read a little bit.
You be reading?
I'll be reading.
Yeah, we had a conversation with Aejay. We was like, Aejay, do you want to come on and kind of like support us with our our newsletter component of the podcast? He said, I got too much on my plate.
I don't got time for that.
He said he ain't got time, so I guess I'm gonna have to try to attempt to kind of do what you do.
Oh yes, no, I'm so excited to be here today. Excited to be stepping in for SirDiva, who I love dearly as well. I'm excited about his show coming up.
Yes.
Rant, Alto Players. Thank y'all for inviting me, and I'm always happy to be in the room with y'all.
Yes.
It's so great. Yes.
Listen, Liz, how long you known Aejay?
I've known Aejay for quite some time.
Yeah. Did you guys do a show together? How did you guys meet?
Okay, so we did the show. That's a good question. But
I'm gonna run it back.
That's like black theater folk though. We met in the streets, in these theater streets.
We met in. This is how. I guess it ages us. This theater is no longer in business.
That's right.
We met at BB Bay.
That's right.
In Dream Girls.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And I was.
We are family.
Like a giant tree. Yes. So that's what. And Aejay, that was what 2014
maybe. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
like 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Look how far we've
Look
come.
how far.
My gosh.
That's amazing.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible.
I can't even recall like when we met, but I know it's been some years.
Yes, it has.
We worked together in Danny Duncan.
Yes.
With
Every
every Saturday night. That's the first time I think we actually were on stage together. But I've known of you.
Yeah.
And I feel like blame it on the mind.
Yeah.
But then you were the dramaturg at Marin Shakes.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that the correct title that you were during the Comedy of Errors?
That's right.
Yes.
Dramaturg there.
So Aejay, you know.
So we've been working together.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
All right, so Creatively Shaded and Aejay has been out in these theater streets.
Oh, we've been out there.
Yeah, so we saw Government Housing 2 at the Tillery-Boughton Players. And we saw that, and that is currently closed. And it featured, it was written by Ayodele Nzinga, featuring Janae Simon and Kat Brooks. So basically what it was about was this woman decided to kidnap her case manager because she was fed up.
Yeah.
And then it went on a psychedelic.
Well, her case manager, because she lived in housing. She lived in a housing.
Yes.
Thank you,
government housing. And the case manager kept showing up to her house unannounced.
Right.
Unannounced.
Which is a problem.
Right.
But she's also, I believe the case manager was setting her up.
She was.
She was sending the letter that she was coming to another address, but showing up on the day.
Right.
I knew exactly what house to show up to.
Absolutely.
So there was an issue there, right? Yeah?
Yeah. And so literally what ended up happening was the character got fed the fuck up. And she said, I'm going to take back my own destiny, because the case manager was constantly giving her unsolicited advice about how to take care of her kids, where her kids should be doing, how she shouldn't be pursuing higher education and bettering herself. It was bizarre.
Why her kids hanging out outside. Yeah.
What I thought was dope for her to say, she was like, my kids have never had any encounters with police until you moved us here.
Right. Yeah.
That
right?
Mm-hmm. And also what ended up happening was we went on a journey
through time.
Psychedelic. In the future, there were some spaceships involved, communicating back and forth. And so there was some interpretive dancing going on. And I think my takeaway from it was, I guess because the character, what ended up happening is they realized that they were inside an existence, an alternate reality that was being played out because she couldn't remember who she truly was. She was trying to get her to remember who she was. And I'm speaking about Janae Simon's character, Dele. That was her name, Dele. So once all of that happened with the kidnapping, then it went to being in this in the future. And Kat Brooks' character completely forgot who she was, and that's when that started to happen. She said, "This is not real. You keep going through this because you can't remember who you are." What did you get from?
Janae Simon is a phenomenal storyteller.
Oh yes,
like hands down. I was captivated by Janae. I was enthralled inside of the story because of Janae. And shout out to everyone who was in the show.
Yes.
Let me just say that and be clear. I always love, me, I always love to go see a black show and support black art. But again, Janae was a very standout character for me. And I got a little bit lost, when they get to go into in the future and into certain worlds. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I needed to slow down, or I need to see it more than one time. So when it got to the future, I was like, oh, okay. And so what I took away from, this is what at least my mind received from it, was that the character that Kat Brooks was playing basically didn't remember how to take care of her family, her community, meaning us. She wasn't taking care of her community, and in order to get to the place of the future where we're all together and celebrating, she needed to be reminded how to take care of her community. I think that was my takeaway. And so Janae's character was coming in to be like, hey, I need you to remember. And even though she kidnapped her, it was the future coming back to say, hey, slow down, you need to get it together, take care of your community, treat your people better. And I do think that there's a higher place for our community, our black community. I do think there's this utopia of a place that can exist. And I think there's so many things that come against us, even ourselves, or we eat ourselves alive. So it was beautiful to see that story. Again, to me, it got a little wordy and I got a little lost. Like, I feel like it could have been simpler explained. And I didn't understand the dancers and how they move the story along. I was happy to see black dancers. I love black art. I love a little get down 5, 6, 7, 8. But I just didn't understand how the two worlds tied together. And that was my only biggest critique on the show. It's just I don't understand how these two worlds tie, and then I think it can be a little bit more simplistic in the wording for us to all stay in it, because there's times where I kind of felt bad, and I didn't understand the lady on the TV.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The testimonials,
Can you? Aejay.
No, thank you. I really enjoyed the show. So for me, this show is really rooted in the Black Arts movement of the 70s, and even in its style. So the Black Art movement was really kind of a gathering where it showcased Black art, and it didn't really matter if the narrative connected, right?
Okay.
So they wanted to show Black dance, they wanted to show Black poetry, they wanted to show the largeness of the Black experience. And something that Ayo Daly said in one of her talkbacks is that she wrote this play ginormous because she felt that the story she was telling could not be contained in a single narrative story. She wanted it to go from this kind of space of the projects or the government housing project to this large kind of extraterrestrial space, because that's where she believes Blackness really resides. It cannot be contained in this kind of small spaces. So I think she really did push herself to write this ginormous play in which Black art and Black conversation was in conversation with each other, even if the narrative wasn't always followed through. So I agree with you. I didn't always understand what the narrative questions were, but I understood that I was there to witness Blackness and Black art in a way that I thought was really important and powerful. I also love this idea of this story because it not only shows how like white cultural or systems kind of gobble kind of the Black impoverished mother, but it also shows how the people who work within it are also gobbled, are also kind of taken away. And I think the project of modernity, the project of building state and a state that's dealt with whiteness is to dismember the Black body, and this play is about remembering the Black body. The questions of how do we remember in a system that has continuously dismembered us. And so I love that question, I love that thought, and was there some like theatrical things that I would have thought differently about, or some stage I would have thought differently about? Absolutely. But I also just love sitting in a place where Black arts movement, the radical 70s Black arts movement was still living and breathing, where we see a Cat Brooks and a Janae Simon taking up so much space, finding so much space, gobbling up the scene and saying to us, this system will not keep us down. We are actually larger than the system, and we actually cannot be swallowed by it. That's what I loved about this production.
See what I'm saying? Look who's here. Look who's here. You understand what I'm saying? I'm so excited.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'm looking at him.
Amen.
Somebody said, would you please reconsider coming a part of looking at the point of the shade of
No, Aejay, this is why I was so excited to have you today. Is because you, with your education, you do allow us to think on a deeper level, but also because you come from here, you know how to explain it to us, right?
That's right.
So that, moving on. Let's keep going.
Yes.
Speaking of which,
now you're gonna have to break
there was
down.
the West Coast premiere of The Last of the Love Letters.
Yeah.
We went to go see that. We were there opening night.
We were.
This was at Crowded Fire Theater at Z Below, written by
Ngozi Anyanwu,
featuring Gabriel Christian, Hadari Blue, Farrah Hamza, with dramaturg G Mama and costume designer by Jasmine Williams.
Yes.
And so what this was is a meditation to loneliness. Two isolated humans unravel and examine the thing they love the most. With fierce humor, arching poetry, and piercing honesty, The Last of the Love Letters gets to the heart of what it is to love and be loved.
Right.
This we saw, when did we see this?
We literally
Opening
saw
night,
it like
so
opening
April
night.
24th maybe?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Okay, and so this has also closed, but we like to talk about what we saw.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
we do.
Because we want these things to come back. We want to see, and when it comes back, you're going to be like, ooh, they talked about it on Creative Shade. I'm going to check that out.
Right.
So, the West Coast premiere. Baby, this one, you're going to have to break this one down for me because I was lost, okay? I didn't know where I was. I didn't know this. Basically, there was two characters, and they interacted with each other dancing, but as far as there was two huge monologues, right? The beginning, and then there was a queer artist. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes, a queer artist in the beginning, and then there was another queer artist in the second part, and then there was another actor who was a nurse or a doctor of some sort, and brought in medication. Okay.
Yes.
So when Phaedra took away from there, I was like, oh, we're in a psych hospital.
Yeah.
That's what my brain went. And what I've heard having conversations post-show is that the show takes you where your mind wants to go, apparently.
Oh.
That's what I was getting.
Okay.
So my mind went to psychiatric hospital, okay?
Yeah.
The first one, I was I loved being uncomfortable. I love when you make me uncomfortable in the theater, and I'm like, what is going on? And so in the beginning, they were eating apple, and they was taking their time. And silence on stage is, to a musical theater queen, is like, oh my God, how long is this gonna last? It was so quiet, and they was just eating their apple, and they took their time eating that apple till they finally said something, and then they went into this monologue that I wasn't sure who they were talking to or who the monologue was for. So my mind, I know about me, I love theater when it's told through time, or like a story. This happened, this happened, this happened, that's the end. Like, and that's not what this was. This was someone expressing their feelings for something or someone, and my brain just couldn't wrap around who it was. But then when we came back in the second, I want to call it Act 2, but it was Act 1. But Act 2 was this person, they had a different interaction, and the lights kept coming on, and someone kept bringing meds. And I'm like, oh, was the first person never bothered by them, or didn't need meds? Did this? I don't know, and maybe it was just not a time for me to be in this space. I just was really, really lost and confused. Now, was there beautiful work done? Absolutely. Were they working? Hell yes. Like tireless, hard monologue work. Yes. But it also felt internal. Yeah, like and pole work and the whole, like they were working. But it felt internal for me. Like it felt, maybe this is the wrong word to say, but self-indulgent. It felt like it was just about them, and I was witnessing, but I didn't know how to receive.
Yeah. I want to add what my thoughts were. It took me a while to also get into it, but I really appreciated how the performer took their time, like you said, eating the apple, and I'm like, okay, all right, what's happening? What's going on? And so I took from what was happening was that this person was in love with someone who was not good for them. There was somebody in their life who they experienced a very, can I say toxic kind of love? Something that was very, had them really stressed out, emotionally unsettled, and that's to me what the monologue kind of was consisting of. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then when the other character came on, I actually thought it was like a prison hospital. Because it seemed to me, it gave off the vibe like a jail or something. And that's when I really kind of like honed in. I said, wow, this is the person who offended, who hurt, who was in relationship with the other person, the first actor.
So they was tied together, but they was
that's how I got it. No, so I thought maybe like because of something that he did, the second actor did, it could have been to that person in relationship that caused him to be where he was.
Oh, they were.
So that's what I was. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. And then what was captivating to me was the way that he was able to hold space. I followed all of his movements. I was really interested in what he had to say, and I really felt like my heart reached out to what he was describing in detail. The fact that he was just getting up was a struggle, not being able to do what he normally would have done, and being in that space and having conversations out loud with himself, not being able to touch anybody. There was a simulation of like self-pleasure on stage where he was getting in touch with the bed, if you understand what I'm saying.
Come on and bring it
getting in touch with the bed. And also, and then there was something that was happening between that nurse or doctor character that was also a little bit of like tension. And I don't know if it was sexual or it was just the need to touch, because I remember she like walked close to him and he reached out his hand, and then she like stopped, and then she kept doing this like really sharp turn. Like every time it was like a sharp turn. And she would, after she finished administering the medication. And so I was like, oh, but it took me a minute to get it. So that's what I took from it. And then it made sense when they did the intertwining dancing together, not dancing together. The two characters who I believe were in relationship or had been in relationship, that made it made more sense to me then. So that's what I took from it.
Yeah. Aejay gonna break it all the way down.
Come on, Aejay.
Because this is really what keyed me for Aejay. Aejay had a beautiful Facebook post about this show and was like inside of it and like was like loving it. And I love that because all art ain't just for everybody. It doesn't speak, and it's okay. That is okay too. We have to be okay with people just not getting or understanding our art or agreeing with it. That's kind of why art is art. And so it was beautiful to read your words, which is like, ooh, let's have Aejay to talk about this. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you all for sharing. This piece really, I went on a Monday evening, so I was there with a lot of theater artists, right? We like an industry night type of feel, which is really great to be in that space in this way. I also love Ngozi's work, and Ngozi's work is also coming back to the Bay Area next season at Berkeley Rep. She's doing Monsters there at Berkeley Rep, so please go support that work. We need more of those kind of stories at spaces like that. But for me, there was so much going on in this play. One, so Hansberry is who played the first character who ate the apple. Is a trans femme Palestinian artist. So they're like navigating a space in which loneliness is not just a metaphor, but it's like tangible and surreal as they witness their country being decimated, right? And as they witness this space of horror, but that's not really the play. I just know Hansberry as a human, and so I was really drawn into that. And I've seen Gabriel's work as a dancer. So for me, this play was an invitation for us to not place our therapy or place our healing in isolation. I think there is a Western desire for us to say, oh, you are having some issues, go to a psychiatrist, go to a therapist, and sit in a room and be isolated to navigate that healing. And the pandemic kind of forced us all into that isolation, and then we were like, whoa, should we really be healing in isolation? Where's our community? How are we processing this as community? How are we processing our hurt, our trauma, our pain as community? And for Ngozi, this work was written during the pandemic. It was written when she had just experienced a breakup, and she was realizing that this thing that I've been taught in Western medicine about heal by yourself, heal in isolation, don't tell people your secrets, don't tell people what's hurting you, don't tell people what is what the hard thing is. Do that in quiet, do that in a therapist's chair. That is what this play offered, was actually, no, we are going to do this with our community watching us do it. We're going to do this as our community our community is going to watch us say, I don't know what this is. It's so, he only liked me when my hair was long, and how cliche is that? And you only wanted me to be this version of me, and you didn't want me to be all of me, so I had to leave you. And then what it means for someone to say, what about agape? What about this thing called unconditionality? How can you not just stand with me, or talk to me, or tell me what's going on, or help us, let's work it out together. Let's work it out in public and in community together. Versus now I'm in this place of, I'm lost without you. I'm in a madness without you. And that madness is being medicated and over-medicated by a system that is not really there to really hold you holistically. I mean, we know all this shit about how the kind of asylum, started and what that did to a lot of Black bodies, what it did to a lot of queer bodies, and so this story too is well, maybe it wasn't about medicating this person. Maybe it was about really the ask, which was, will you hold my hand? When he looked at us and said, can you come up? Who's gonna? And then he's like, I guess I deserve that. I guess I deserve to be alone. And then we see his death on stage, right?
Yes,
and so
that's right.
You realize that these systems of isolating and being in isolation and only navigating pain in isolation is actually a system of harm that I don't think serves anyone. And it's really interesting because Lily Janiak, who was one of the, as we all know who Lily Janiak is, the entirety of her review, which she loved the play, which is her prerogative, but was about this play should not be a play, should be a therapy session. And I was like, this is exactly the point of the play. That it should not. So which for me, I was like, the critique of the play is actually the point of the play. And
you missed it.
And I think you missed it, but I also think that it's kind of performance art itself. It's to watch a play where someone's like, I don't want to do this by myself. I want to do this in front of an audience and in front of community. To be told you should do this by yourself is the point of the play.
Yeah, I mean, even what I said it felt self-indulgent, and it is. And I'm like, oh, now that you're explaining it in this way, and that's the thing about, I love going to theater and having conversations post-show, because something I didn't get, now you've made a puzzle that was like, what are all these pieces? Oh, yes, I actually agree with that thought. I just didn't understand it in the way that it was presented, and that's fine. That's why there's reading books on levels. That's why there's ways in which you make it plain for some people, and for others, they need the complexity. They need it to feel, have those things for them to feel like they experienced art, and we're seeing. So
I will say that I did have a conversation with someone about this show just briefly. I know we're moving on time, short on time, but I really want to say that something that came up for them was that how do we hold people after witnessing something so difficult? You witness this man kind of go through madness, he deteriorates on stage for 45 minutes, and so the question is, what is the responsibility of the theater to create post-show, not conversation, but post-show experience where people don't feel like they're just sent out into the world after witnessing that, and not have anyone to, because the point of that show is to be let's navigate this shit together. And so it's what is the responsibility of theater spaces to hold those kind of spaces after shows that brings up Black trauma, queer trauma, relationship trauma, et cetera, et cetera. So that's
I agree. I do like that as a playhouse. For an hour, they keep the bar open after the show and allow you, and they encourage the artists that are on stage to come and have a drink after the show, and not just to be in community and to decompress what you've just experienced. And I'm telling you, after the show, I've been needing my little drink and be like, whew, all right.
Thank you for that, Aejay. That was incredible. So it made, like you said, it made a lot of sense, and I'm looking forward to seeing what those potential spaces are going to look like.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so Crumbs from the Table of Joy at Aurora Theater, written by Lynn Nottage, directed by Elizabeth Carter, featuring Jamela Cross, Asia Nicole Jackson, David Everett Moore, Anna Marie Sharp, lighting design by Kevin E. Merrick, voice and dialect coach Mary Nicole Love, and sound design by Ray Archie. And Courtney Williams is an understudy.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to see her last night.
You got to see Courtney go out last night. I saw Emery. We were there for opening. Yeah. Me and Sean J were there. I think Crumbs is a really beautiful show. I really, really think that like I always say, I love going to see Black art when it's just Black bodies on stage and they're just telling our stories. And I think that they did a good job. I think it was well done. I think that you know me, I'm always gonna find a standout. That standout, Aejay Jackson.
Oh yeah,
Aejay Jackson,
put in that work. I was blown away with Aejay.
Yeah.
And so kudos to you, Aejay. Killing it. To the whole cast, you guys are all doing phenomenal, beautiful work. And go see this show. It's really, really beautiful.
Yes. And when I went, I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, I just happened to go on a night where they were also having a talk back. I just happened to go where they posted that Courtney went on for Anna Marie's character, Ernestine. And let me tell you, she had the book in her hand. They announced that she would, but I forgot. And that's what's incredible. She was grounded. She knew what she was doing. She was working, okay? Incredible job. Like we always say, do not devalue an understudy. An understudy, stand-ins, swings, they're integral components of the theater.
They're the way the show keeps going.
That show went, and it did an incredible job. And I was happy to stay back from the talk. For the talk back, like we were just saying, that it's always so good to just get additional information if that's what you want to receive, because some people don't always do that. But I did, and I was very, very thankful. Like one tidbit of information that I learned was that Lynn Nottage wrote this in 1995, and I was like, okay, wow, this is incredible to know, because I'm familiar with some of her older work, or more work that's come out recently, I should say. And I was just very thankful to be a part of that. And the work was incredible. The way that it was staged, I really enjoyed it. I understood everything that was happening. Like they had these moments where Ernestine would, her wildest dreams of how she wished her family members would interact, but then whoop, nah, that ain't really what happened. They showed the dream, and then they showed reality. And I liked the way that was played. And Elizabeth said that it was written in the script, But she was the one who took the liberty to stage it in the way that she did. And I thought that she did a great job. So applause to the cast of Crumbs from the Table of Joy.
Yeah. Also, if you're a Lynn Nottage fan, Sanjay is directing Sweat right now. A Lynn Nottage show.
Yeah.
Ruined is one of her famous shows as well. I was actually introduced to this show through Tanika Baptiste when she directed it at Town Hall.
Yes, right.
A couple of years ago. And so I'm so glad it's back.
It's a really good show. I had never seen it before, so I was I was really inside and really enjoying it.
Yes.
That's great.
Okay, so I saw 2 trains running at American Conservatory Theater, and that's now closed. When I tell you, our brother Michael J. Asbury, he threw it down on that stage.
This was like, man, this show is 3 hours. I don't know how I'm gonna feel, but I was like, I already know it's about to be good.
It was good, and it was incredible. The cast was on fire, and I feel myself. I'm just gonna be honest with everybody. Y'all know August Wilson's work. Well, August Wilson, he tell it like it is, and he used all the language, okay? So when he uses, there's certain words that are being, said, like the N-word is said multiple times. Whenever I hear it, I'm always like hyper aware that I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of white people. But I said, you know what? Throw that back.
Yeah.
You better get into it. And I did.
Right.
Michael was like, it's just incredible to see someone's progression, like to see them in different characters and different work. And he was like this wise guru up there. It was incredible.
Yes.
I just loved it. For those of you who don't know what 2 Trains Running is about, it's part of August Wilson's Century Cycle, set in 1960s Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Memphis Lee, a diner owner in a historically black neighborhood who must decide if he should allow the government to take over his building or sell the property to a ruthless businessman. And so Michael J. Asbury was the friend to Memphis. He was the one with the wise counsel. He counseled everyone who came in there. He had a wise word, and I mean monologues on monologues. And he held them down. And I say held them down, he held them down. So unfortunately, you may have missed it, but I also want to commend him and that entire company because they were doing 2 plays simultaneously as the actor troupe. They were also doing the Comedy of Errors as well. And so, round of applause for y'all with y'all black excellence.
Yes.
That was incredible. So that's how we have been out
in these
theater streets.
So we haven't been out in these theater streets, so that's why that was a long segment today because we had a lot to talk about. We've been outside. I do just want to name, this was not a black show, but I did see The Curious Incident of Dog at the nighttime at SF Playhouse, and I will say, there are no black actors in the show. However, that show was good. I'm saying the book, like the story is so good, and the way it takes you into a world of an autistic person is just really beautiful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you have a chance, go see it. We don't have any information. I just kind of winged it at this moment just because it was so good and so moving to me. And I feel like if we ever see pieces that are worth saying, I know we are all about our black art here, but if we see a piece that we know that our community deserves to see as well,
absolutely.
Just go out and support that. It was a really, really good show.
Absolutely. Can I just shout out one?
Yes, absolutely.
So there is at Marin Shakespeare, John Tracy is directing R+J, Romeo and Juliet, who has a Waylay is in that show, as well as Miles, 2 black actors in the Bay Area. I saw that last weekend. It has one more showing run this weekend. It is really worth seeing, folks. Like John Tracy has decided to put the adults in that play on trial for all of the mess they caused in that play, and I just think the casting is gender expansive, the staging is beautiful, the soundtrack is great. So if you have opportunity to go to Marin, spend a time, sip a little wine, and do what you need to do, please check out that show because I think it's really doing some great Shakespeare work.
Awesome. Now let's move right on. Now look who done flipped it and reversed it. How the current administration's suggestion to eliminate the National Endowment of the Arts and pulling back of funds has impacted the Bay Area theater.
All right, now you're going to want to pull up in this is a history lesson.
This is real important.
This is
Those
really
that
important.
have been supporting. This is why we have this show. This is why we discuss where you can go see black art.
Yep.
Because it's important to support us, because there's things like this that are always coming up against us.
Yep.
The history. The U.S. doesn't have a long tradition of government funding for the arts. Though there were attempts to galvanize a national council for the arts in the past, it wasn't until 1964 that the National Endowment for Arts was envisioned as a part of President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, along with war on poverty, new education programs, and care for the elderly. Johnson proclaimed that the Great Society would provide money and expertise to encourage the development and growth of the arts through the nation. It was then established by Congress in 1965 with missions to foster the excellence, diversity, and vitality of the arts in the United States.
Can you just repeat that mission statement again?
Mm-hmm. To foster the excellence, diversity, and vitality of the arts in the United States.
Let that just marinate for a second.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what is the National Endowment for the Arts? So according to their website, it's an independent federal agency that is the largest funder of the arts and arts education in communities nationwide and a catalyst of public and private support for the arts. By advancing opportunities for arts participation and practice, the NEA fosters and sustains an environment in which the arts benefit everyone in the United States. Just pay attention to the language, okay? Mm-hmm. It encourages arts participation and practice. The funds for the NEA are allocated by Congress, which comes from taxpayers. The NEA funds arts and arts education across the country, such as nonprofit organizations,
theaters,
public agencies, museums, college and universities, individual writers for projects, fellowships for translation and creative writing in prose and poetry. So let's talk about this process. Okay, so if you are someone who wants to apply for this grant, it could be a theater company, it could be all of what I just listed. What they do is they submit their application, and a panel of experts extensively evaluate the submissions and assess the artistic excellence and merit of the project, its potential impact on the particular field, and whether it's reaching an artistically underserved community. Then the panel passes on their recommendations to the National Council of the Arts, which is comprised of federally appointed artists and art leaders. They review the grants and send them to the NEA's chairman, who makes the final decision.
So, I'm a theater maker.
Mm-hmm.
I want to apply for this money to tell stories about space.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell a story about space. Well, hell, let's even go further. I want to tell the story about autism.
Right.
I make the incident of the curious dog. I'm applying for this grant, and they go, oh my gosh, yes. Okay. This is teaching people about autism. This is opening doors for this community of people. Yes, we are going to give you this money to make this art. This art goes over. Your children are singing all the songs. Your family are more aware. We're funding. We're now donating our dollars to Autism Cares and Speaks. And now we've taken care of a community because there was a play that you saw that encouraged you to do that.
Yeah.
And that play went on TV and people started having conversations and it opened up a door for that community. Yes?
Yes.
That's what this is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then what happened was?
What happened?
Yeah, so as of May 2nd, the current administration proposed slashing the NEA's budget. I'll talk a little about that later.
Yep.
But arts organizations have already begun receiving notice of NEA grant cancellation. Many of Bay Area theaters and dance spaces and film spaces and literary spaces, money has been taken overnight. Some of those projects are currently happening right now. So the reason being was a shift in agency priorities aligned with the agenda of the current administration and focus on elevating projects for the 25th anniversary of American.
250th.
That makes more sense because we're more than 25 years old, even though we acted like we only 5 years old. and we're back in slavery. But 20th anniversary of the American independence, making America healthy again, and projects that reflect the nation's rich heritage and artistic heritage and creativity as prioritized by the president. This has prompted the resignations of many of the top leaders of the NEA, including the main leader who is over theater. The entire dance collective has resigned. So this is huge news. And this isn't the first time, right, that the NEA has been under attack.
Yep.
It was in his first administration, he tried to defund NEA, but also in 1990, the NEA was under fire because they decided to remove funding from 4 artists who were creating queer work called the NEA 4. And this ended up being a Supreme Court case versus NEA versus Finley, which was a big deal then. We were talking about what is NEA there to support, and they tried to put in a morality clause. They tried to put in ways in which the money can or cannot be spent, usually going against minority communities, and this is just a kind of a remaking of that. So I just think we have to not only think about what happened on May 2nd, what's happening in this administration, but this is also how you have to keep your head in these books, keep your head in these notes, because this is a repetition.
It's not new.
It's not new.
They're repeating history.
Yeah. So
which means we got to show up.
That's right.
In ways that we have done before.
That's right.
To get these things. So basically, what has happened is Trump said, "No, I don't want this money to go." And this is just me making a story come true.
You're paraphrasing.
I don't want people knowing about autism this month or this year. Well, I want them to focus on making America great again. And if these plays are written about me being in power, if these plays are written about the history of America that don't really talk about slavery, that don't really talk about things that he doesn't like, then you'll be funded. But if you're different and you're not on his agenda, then we're pulling our money back. DEI.
Diversity.
And most of the time, the DEI folks are not even black folks.
We know. We've talked about that.
Okay? So they pulling your money too.
Yep. All right, so you may be asking yourself, well, how are the black theater companies being impacted? The specifics of how new NEA slashing of grants has affected the 2 black theaters that are located here in the Bay Area. The Lorraine, Hansberry Theater and African American Shakes will continue to unravel as time goes on. However, in our last episode, season 2, episode 8, we mentioned that African American Shakes had already started losing funding. So what can we do to support? Contact your legislators to support the NEA. Donate, give the money. LHTSF has a sustaining, Lorraine Hansberry Theater has a sustaining membership program. Continue to buy tickets to productions.
Yes.
Speak out, spread the word, start the conversations.
If the show good, leave another 20 at the door.
Exactly.
If you enjoyed yourself and you like, oh, I only paid $20 for my ticket, let me go back to the box office of it. That was good. Let me leave you another 20.
Yes.
Yeah, and everyone, we know that we have like technology and social media, but everyone is now still talking about how word of mouth is the most powerful way of getting information out. So don't ever think that you connecting with somebody or a group of people is for naught. No, your voice matters, your voice counts. You don't know who you're gonna impact and who you're gonna inspire to do something that they don't normally do, like go to the theater, like donate. Volunteer.
Are you looking for I know that SF has started coming up with new ways for people to donate, so you don't have to be a millionaire to donate. Like, we have a program where you can pay $30 or $40 a month. Like, here, I want to donate, I want to help this theater, even on a small budget, even if it's $5, $10. Donate to a theater. Keep art alive. Don't let this administration tear us apart.
Absolutely, and that's a lesson from the Black Arts Movement as well, right? The Black Arts Movement was like, we're not actually depending on federal funding because we know how fickle they are.
Yes.
So they're thinking like NEA, who is that?
Right.
We don't. So our community has always thrown up for each other. Let's keep doing that.
Yes.
It's for specific action that's happening next week, actually. I don't know when y'all are airing this. So, but on March 14th, if this is aired before that.
Wait, May
14th. Yeah, on May 14th, next Wednesday, there's an action happening in Sacramento where we're going and we're speaking directly to the senators and Congress folk talking about getting more arts funding in response to this federal cuts. So there are things you could do like donating to theaters, but also things you can do, like go to your senators and look at them in their eyeballs and say how much it matters to you. In times like these, when arts funding is slashed, when institutions pull back, and when the world tells us to make do with less, it's easy to feel disheartened. But let this be a reminder. The very essence of theater was born in struggle, rebellion, and resilience. Theater has never needed permission to matter. It survives in black box rooms, on street corners, in classrooms, in the hearts of those brave enough to tell stories. It is not just performance, it is protest, healing, communion, and transformation.
Funding may falter, but the fire does not. Theater disrupts complacency. It challenges systems, questions norms, and places the human soul in full view. It gives voice to the voiceless, space to the silenced, and light to the unseen. Every time you step onto a stage, hold a script, direct a scene, or dream up a world from scratch, put that butt in a theater seat, you are declaring we are still here and we still matter.
And do not stop, because we never will. Keep writing, keep rehearsing, keep creating. Even when the world cuts your resources, it can never cut your impact. What you do shifts minds, inspires courage, and builds empathy. Things no budget can measure. Art doesn't wait for a perfect condition, it endures. So will you.
You better say it, Phaedra.
Aejay, baby. Aejay.
Come on.
Yes. All right.
Do the art.
Go on, Phaedra.
All right, listen. Not only are we talking about the adults, we need the youth in these theaters.
Yes.
We need to encourage them that exploring their imaginations and thinking of worlds that they can create. They could put that on stage. They can write their own destiny or be in shows that talk about them being something that they never imagined before. So we want to activate our Black youth, getting children into theater education. There are so many opportunities and spaces for your kids to be involved in arts this summer, and we want to talk about that. But we know that our Black youth are not in these programs. I don't know if it's because they don't know about them, or know how much they can benefit, or even understand that we have programs in place to get them to and from these places that is safe. So here's a few things that we have going on.
Yes. So at African American Shakes, they have something called Shake the Stage Summer Camp. They're producing The Wiz Jr. They're going to have mock auditions June 24th through the 26th. And camp dates actually take place from July 7th through August 2nd, located at 450 Gulf Street in San Francisco. In addition to rehearsals for The Wiz Jr., campers will explore in-depth production-related workshops and community field trips, including a Broadway show. Ooh.
Yes.
It includes costumes, snacks, and a camp t-shirt.
Come on. You can sign your students up there at african-americanshakes.org.
Yes.
School of the Get Down Youth Art Camp. A multidisciplinary and fun arts program for youth of all skill levels, ages 10 through 16. Visual arts by Virginia Jordan, vocals by Faye Carroll, dance by Araya Fleming, and music theory by Professor Key. Percussion by Juan Escovedo. And rap by the Ryan Nicole.
Y'all know
this summer program runs through July 28th to August 2nd at Jeffrey's Inner Circle right here in Oakland.
Yes.
This program is offered at no cost with a non-refundable application fee to ensure a spot, which is limited to $100 before June 15th and $200 after June 15th. For more information, go to www.fayecarol.com/youth-arts-camp.
Yes.
Yes. And we also want to talk about the Berkeley Rep, where Aejay works.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so Berkeley Rep has summer programming this summer for ages grades 1 through 12. We have
grades 1 through 12.
Grades 1 through 12, yes. We have a middle school camp, which is a acting camp with improv.
Theater intensive.
We have high school camp, and I'm actually directing in that. So
the Broadway experience.
Which is the musical theater camp. So please make sure that, and then we have a storytellers camp for the kids.
Yes, that's the play creation.
Yes. So please check it out. We're doing some fun stuff, and it is more if your kid is like, I don't know if I really want to do acting or singing and dancing, but they're like, I really want to act, I want to improv. That may be a spot for your student to show up.
Now listen, for this, for the 1st through 5th graders, there's limited spacing. I'm looking at the website now, so make sure you go and get signed up, get your students signed up for those programs.
Yeah.
At SF we have the Young Actors Lab. There are 2 sessions. The first session is acting technique. That's July 7th through the 18th. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's all day, y'all, now. You get them out bagels for breakfast, sit them out the door. They there all day. Big on. With the culminating showcase, and then they get to show it to you on July 18th at 3 p.m. These students will explore the practice of acting from the foundations and learn how to create strong characters and command an audience with their performance commitment. They will explore scenes from contemporary theater and work to create a showcase for their work for friends and family. The second session is acting for the camera. You want to get your baby on TV?
Pose.
That's July 21st through August the 1st from 10 a.m. to 3. Listen, that's another all day now.
All day, keep them all day.
With culminating scenes on August 1st at 5 p.m. Students will develop their performance skills for the camera using scenes and monologue from screenplays. They will develop their ability to self-tape. Listen, that's a skill. Because I don't like self-taping. So if somebody can teach your kid, then they can come over and help me.
Okay.
You self-tape for professional auditions and college screening. These classes are taught by Aida Pirzada and Cedric Cabrera. All sessions will be held at the Bravo Center in San Francisco. The enrollment is still open. Get your kids signed up. That is at sfbackcode.org.
What's the ages for that camp, Phaedra?
This is, is it open? I believe these are high school students.
High school students.
Yes, 8th through 12th grade.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still young enough to do that.
We could pass the teenagers.
I need my screen testing done.
Me too.
Oh.
We can't pass.
Oh,
we can't.
Not for high schoolers. I love y'all.
Oh.
Y'all could be.
But it don't crack.
20, 30.
Yeah. Oh, we doing shade today. Creatively shady.
Right.
It becomes creatively shadeful.
My bad.
All right.
Okay, and
there's another one.
Yeah.
SF Arts Ed.
Yes.
Exploration Camp, Broadway Bound, Art and Design, and Fashion. Locations are at the Jewish Community High School of the Bay, 1835 Ellis Street, San Francisco. Session 1, June 9th through June 20th. Session 2, June 23rd through July 3rd. Session 3, July 7th through July 18th.
Miss Faye will be teaching all 3 sessions.
Oh my God, girl!
Yes.
Y'all better get.
Come on, get this work. I'm excited.
If you've ever seen Phaedra on stage, or you know what, if you've just been watching this podcast, let me tell you, you want to learn and you want to pull up to that
Come on to this camp.
Get your kids. You better get them kids. Get them kids in the theater. But on a serious note, we know that there are a lot of there's a lot of opposition as far as, you know, Black youth being able to tap into theater, but we will never let that be an obstacle for us. Okay, I don't care if you got the money, don't have it, reach out to us. We will all work together to figure out how we can get them babies on them theater stages, behind the scenes, whatever the case may be. We want you and your children there.
And for all of these programs, there are scholarships available.
Yes.
Please go to the websites. If you don't see them, inbox us. We'll find out. We know all of these folks and all of these theaters.
Right.
We'll find a way to make sure that your child can participate this summer in a program. We understand that times are hard here in the Bay Area, that you don't want your child just running around while you're at school, while you're at work during the summertime, and we want to make sure that we bring them into a safe space, introduce them to an art field that is beautiful, and that we can keep exploring Black art in our communities.
Yes.
Amen.
Health, healing, and hope.
Yes.
Ooh, yes. All right, Phaedra, I think it's time for your favorite part.
It's time for Center stage shade.
Come on, Aejay.
Shade.
What happened, Liz?
Well, y'all see we have Aejay, right? Mm-hmm. So SirDiva is not here today, but don't think that he didn't put in his rant.
Yes.
All right, SirDiva's rant is coming at you right now. Check it out.
Hello, lovelies. Sean J. coming here. SirDiva from the Lucy Stern Community Center in Palo Alto for my rehearsals for Sweat coming up soon. But I wanted to share with you all my SirDiva says, instead of a rant, here's the deal. When you're in rehearsal and the director is giving you direction at a table work, or within a scene work, take notes. Please take notes. See, that bird, quiet. Take notes, either on your phone or on some kind of device, like paper and pen. Bird, I'm gonna need you to chill. Anywho, take notes, because one, you may think you have a great memory, but if I've given you a note 3 times, because I know, and you haven't written it down, we have a problem. So, SirDiva says, take notes, and then take the note. Even if you don't agree with the note, let the director see it. Because also, we're looking at a fuller picture than you are. So that note is probably connected to something else within either that scene or the play itself. So please, take notes both physically and artistically, and then we can talk. But when you come back and go, well, I don't see, child, I don't care what you don't see. Take the note, let me see what I want to see, and then if it don't work, we'll move forward. And on that note, smooches.
Y'all know how SirDiva do. He do way too much. That's why we love him.
Yes! always something. There's always something.
All right, so here comes the other shade. Alabaster, porcelain, ivory, also known as white.
No, say it your way.
What? When a When a PW, predominantly white theater, is casting every shade of beige. Every shade of beige. So this is about complaints about predominantly white theaters in a predominantly white demographic in the Bay Area, still casting predominantly white shows. Do we care?
Nah, bruh. No.
We don't care. So let's get into it.
No, because then they want to pick a black show out of nowhere and then wonder why nobody shows up. We can't cast him. We can't cast him. No, we don't want to work with you. There's a difference.
Yes.
We're not showing up to your auditions. We're not supporting you because you have a bad history of how you treat us and what you put on your stage and who you put behind the scenes.
Exactly. So this all started because I was perusing Facebook and someone had posted in a group, Bay Area theater folks, and this is what it says. Been seeing too many all-white casts popping up again in Marin/Sonoma Theater. Eyeballs. Diversity moves slowly enough up here. Let's not backslide, please. Okay, let's get into it.
Well, getting into it is what it is. We just talked about the administration pulling funding and doing what they. So some of these theater companies are deciding to go back on all the promises they made and make sure that they can keep their funding. There's that.
Yeah.
Statements been removed, statements been taken down, but also if it's forced, is it real?
Is
right.
It?
So if we have to put out things that says we see you, and for you to shift something, that you don't do in the first place. And at the end of the day, keep doing you. And keep saying what you have. Because we're going to keep doing us. That's what I believe.
Absolutely.
I am not really out here trying to knock on doors and be like, please,
let me in. Can I sit at your table,
Can I please tap dance in your show? No, bruh. We're gonna be out here in the spaces that cultivate us, that cares about us, that hears our voices.
Absolutely.
So, but we also gonna say we see you.
We see you, but I
don't want to be with you.
Unbothered.
Super unbothered, okay? Because we're gonna be
But
here.
they also are catering to their audiences, right?
That's the thing. That's the argument. So you already know the demographic. You already know the population of the people. You already know who their board consists of. You already know who they choose to have on their stage, the shows they choose to produce. Why are you surprised?
Why are you surprised?
I'm just waiting for the actors to stand up with us.
Right.
the ones that are cast in these shows, I get it. We're excited to be a part of something and we're all working to be cast in shows. But once you get to the announcement of their cast, or once you get to the first rehearsal room and you realize your rehearsal room doesn't look diverse, there should be a problem. Mm-hmm. And you as an actor, as an artist, should have something to say about it.
Yeah.
And then to our Black audiences, you have to start supporting us when we have the opportunities to be in some of these theaters.
Yeah.
They are believing that we don't deserve this time on their stage,
right,
because you're not coming to support us.
Uh-huh.
And again, we will give you a discount code. We're telling you where and stuff to go. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with somebody that you know may like theater, but you don't like it so much. Share it with those people, because we do need a supportive community that comes out and supports when we do things like that. And you have to understand, being an actor on stage, you want your community to be in the audience.
You do.
Because even there, the when you don't get them, you feel it.
Yep.
When you're telling a story that doesn't resonate with people, you feel that on stage. Mm-hmm. So consistently support your Black actors. Go out and stop supporting those shows that are not supporting colored cast that look like our world, like the Bay Area.
Right.
Come on.
We're in the Bay Area and we still fighting for it to look like what we look like. Why are you telling those stories anymore?
Yeah. And I just feel like, why, don't put your money on, don't even I just had to bring it up because I'm just kind of confused. Like,
I'm not.
Why? No, I mean, confused. I'm confused as to why people are still like, I'm surprised. This is happening. Why are you surprised? You can go ahead and be surprised, but me and my people, we're going to be over here with our fans. Where our fans at? With them boots on the ground.
Where them fans at?
Right.
Moving on. All right. We need you to put your butt in the theater seats like we just said.
And talking about the theaters that are repping us and repping our community, yes.
Yeah, so now what you need to do is go to the Come Through that's happening at Lorraine Hansberry Theater. It is a cultural celebration, which means it's meant for us. So with the Lorraine Hansberry Theater, they're having a play reading by the Lisa B. Thompson. If you have not seen anything by Lisa B. Thompson, you're bad. If you want to see something by Lisa B. Thompson, go see the play reading of African Stew, a poignant exploration of love, class, culture, and the Black diaspora, directed by Dominique Williams, featuring Rolanda D. Bell, Titus Van Hook, Lamont Thompson, Janae Simon, Michael Asbury, Margot Hall, and Regina Morones. Stage manager and stage directions by Monique Crawford, and dialect coach by the Idris Cooper. I do not know how to say that.
And if it won't shave.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you know how we remember it? It's like a nigga won't shave.
Oh,
shit. Sorry. That's how you remember it. I love
I won't ever forget it. And if it won't shave.
And if it won't shave, nigga won't shave.
They won't shave. All right.
And if it won't shave.
They're also going to be showing what African Stew explores is the complexities of love, class, and identity. This poignant and satirical work delves into the joys and challenges of cross-class, intercultural relationships within the Black diaspora. This will be on Saturday, May 17th at 4 p.m. at Fort Mason Center of Arts for the Culture. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't get it out. I will be there. Will you be there, Liz? I'll be there. I'm gonna be. You gonna be there? You might not. Let's do that.
I'm not, because I am also that same day after that at 7:30. Kat Brooks' show is gonna be at WBCA, Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, in the screening room. So if after you go see African Stew, get your talk, get your sip, get your little bite, you can do a double header and head on down to WBCA and come check out Kat Brooks' new work, Driving the Girls, honey.
Yeah.
We'll drop the information for that too.
So we'll drop that information, and then on Sunday there's a season preview and celebration, May 18th, at the Fort Mason Center at the Magic. This will celebrate what's ahead at Lorraine Hansberry Theater with a joyous season preview event filled with music, laughter, plenty of bubbly. Enjoy a powerful performance by LSG Soulful Choir. That's the holiday choir that they be having.
Hallelujah.
Experience exclusive scenes from our reading from the fall production of Sunset Baby, and meet our new 2020-25 new Black Voices mentee.
Who that is? Tillery-Boughton.
As we continue our tradition of uplifting Black voices and story, this is a free event Come support and RSVP at lhtsf.org to secure your spot.
Yes. I'll be in the house.
Yes.
And also, it's a free event, but if you want to, bring a few dollars,
put it in the
collection
coin.
tray.
Yes. So we can produce more black arts.
That's right.
What else did I go see?
Crumbs from the Table of Joy continues at Aurora Theater, written by Lynn Knowledge, directed by Elizabeth Carter. We just talked about this show.
Yes.
They both loved it. So please go check it out.
Yes.
And you can see more tickets. You can get tickets at auroratheater.org on stage April 28th through May 25th. So you
Yes, you still have some time.
Yeah, so go see it. Check it out.
Ooh.
All right. A world premiere hip hop musical.
Yes.
Co-founders by Ryan Nicole Austin,
Woo!
Bo Lewis, and Aejay Antonias at American Conservatory Theater, featuring Angel Adeokun, Aejay Antonias, Ryan Nicole Austin, Jordan Cummings,
Yes.
Anissa Foles, Tommy Solati Shepard, understudies Austin Dean Ashford,
Yes.
Yolanda D. Bell,
Yes.
and Lee DeVoe, costume design Jasmine.
Come on,
Milan,
Jasmine is out here getting us dressed.
Queen, lighting design Xavier Pierce.
Yeah.
All right, we already talked about co-founders.
Co-founders in our last episode, but I will emphasize and highlight they're having Black Affinity Night. Thank you, Phaedra.
Yes.
June 6th, June 7th, June 8th. Let's light it up.
Yes,
Go out there and
light it
see
up.
that show. Get dressed to the nines. Let's just go cut up.
Okay.
Let's go cut up. June 6th, 7th, and 8th, guys.
Yes, and it's on stage. The total run is from May 29th through July 6th.
Well, that's a nice amount of time.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Sister Friend, a stage reading. Sister Friend is a story about holding on to friendships through life's messiness. The highs, the heartbreaks, and the healing. Basically, it'll make you laugh, cry, and leave with a full heart. This is my own play that I've been working on, and it'll be a reading of its full first and second acts. This will happen at Zacco Dance Theater on June 21st at 7 p.m. There are limited seats, so make sure you go on. We're going to put that at the bottom, I'm sure. Go on and sign up for your seat. It's going to have a little food, a little wine, a little raffle, a little fun time. So make sure you come out and support my very first stage reading for the full the full reading of Sister Friend.
Yes! I had an opportunity to see, I think it was Act 1, right?
Yeah.
Me and Aejay.
Aejay too.
And Aejay, of course. We were all there.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you.
So proud.
Oh.
So proud.
You do us proud, girl. We proud.
Thank
of
you.
you.
I love y'all.
We love you, baby. All right, go ahead.
We have Stu
Yes.
and Palo Alto Players. So a group of friends have spent their lives sharing drinks, secrets, and laughs while working together on the factory floor in industrial Pennsylvania. When layoffs and picket lines began to chip away at their trust, the friends are pitted against each other in a heart-wrenching fight to stay afloat. This is the Palo Alto Players. This runs June 13th through June 29th.
Yes, our very own SirDiva. Sean J will be directing that.
So there is so much theater for you to
Go
put your
see.
back
Yeah.
in the seat.
Get in the seat.
Yeah.
Get in the seat.
Get in the seat.
Get in the seat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Aejay, we have thoroughly enjoyed having you today.
Yes.
It's been great.
I've learned so much just by this
So
conversation
much.
alone, and I love what your mind does.
Yes.
It's a beautiful
It's a
thing, and I'm
beautiful
so lucky to call you friend.
Yeah, same, friend. Same.
Hearts
It's great.
blessed for sure.
Yeah, hey, friend.
We're gonna have Aejay back with
We
Sean.
will.
With Sean
Yes.
back. You
Yeah, I
imagine all
know.
this much, all this energy at one time. We're gonna see how it go. All right, you always know. Follow us, subscribe, log on, watch us on YouTube, listen to us, share us, promote us, subscribe to YouTube. Watch us, share us with your friends, share us with your family. We talk about theater for all ages.
We do.
Make sure your kids are involved in theater. Take them to the theater. There's things for them to see and be a part of.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we're gonna have to do this since Sean Jay's not
I
here.
know.
How does he do it? He says,
As always,
stay fierce,
fierce,
fabulous,
fabulous, and black.
Black.
We love y'all. See y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
You can subscribe to Creatively Shaded Podcast on YouTube and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen.